Huh? 4 days?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
4 day, baby.
Whack out night? Don't use the bathroom, man.
Whack out night.
Again, you didn't hear this? Man, okay, I'm gonna show you, dog.
Yeah, we live, son.
Yo.
Whack out night?
Should I finish the song or you just gonna go proceed?
Nah, you can finish the song, bro.
Like team we do. Break a one and I'm in the house to shine. Ground crew report so we can make this one combine. Bone trying to beyond. You promise yo. Together as a team. Making magic magically. Yo, moving through the extra line, I used to get beat. It's crazy, right? Crazy nights. I remember broke out summers, we used to just suck all nights. Another day in the human body, used to put 5 on the weed and they go hit the party. Yeah, back on the forefront, all the perfect timing, working on my healing and alignment. Yo, ash tall in the village, yo, made my eyes a little bigger, like a Snapchat flower filter. Illa, chocolate caramel, my low vanilla. L black slippers, call us Cinderella. See through the weather, like the evil trip and stop you. Trip, see through the weather, the illusions trying to bother you. See through the weather, like a sweat drip to cool your shoe. We keep them over, watch our line, take do it, yeah. See through the weather, like the evil trip and stop you. See through the weather, the illusions trying to bother you. See through the weather, like the sweat drip and cool your shoes. We keep them moving, watch our line, take do what it do. Salute the fleet, we on the ground. Stellar. Check.
So we got the controls.
We apologize for the slight delay, ladies and gentlemen. We have moved back to the floor. Right here on the ground.
So get this up a little teeny bit. The acoustics in the living room are reflecting the sound. Vibrations always. Once again, a great, beautiful, magnificent moment that is this now. Once again, a great honor and pleasure to connect with you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for continuing to shine your light here on the new earth and continuing to radiate most gracefully. As one light team, we are here to shine the light as examples for all life and reflective of the divine nature of who we are, representing the light. Once again, a great welcome to you. Our subject matter today, we're talking about feelings, and I feel that there is much to unfold in this now moment when it comes to our discussion today on feelings. There's a lot of energy here on the surface of planet Earth right now. And we are aware of the many transitions and milestones, portals that you all are moving through. And we had a discussion about the nature of our topic today. We were playing around with a couple different titles. Call it emotional body. We use many fancy titles and sound vibrations to describe today's subject matter. However, I felt that it was most necessary and of great benefit for us to title today's subject matter as feelings. It's a broad sound vibration. However, the title itself, I felt, had more feeling than emotions or the emotional body or energies or frequency. The context of sound vibration of feelings has a feeling in itself, where we spoke about a similar matter before. However, today, I feel that it's necessary for us to address feelings a little more directly and move with the intuition when it comes to such a matter. So I'd like to start today's Let's Build off with a grounding exercise. Some of you are aware of it and some of you aren't. However, we'll practice today. And it's very simple, very easy. We're gonna call this the 1 minute meditation. And basically, throughout your experience, there's a lot of activity in coming here. There's a lot that has taken place and unfolded for you to come to this now moment and connecting with who we are of your angelic guardians. And what we're going to do is to strengthen the connection that we share with you through these communications, through connecting energetically first. And I will probably implement this in many of our Let's Builds to come, where we will dissolve some of the activity, some of the mental activity that takes place prior to our connection and establish a deeper connection. So our communications with you are a lot more potent. So I'll take a minute to explain what's going to take place now. And here's what we're going to do. Some of you meditate daily. Some of you don't. Some of you never meditated before. I'm not going to explain the nature of meditation, but this is what we're going to do. We're going to just close our eyes and be still for 60 seconds. And what you're going to do is feel your heart. Just want you to stop, let go of all the mantras and teaching and attempting to stop thoughts or control anything. I just want you to connect with your heart and feel your essence, feel yourself, and be here for a minute. Allow your breathing to take place naturally. Allow yourself just to sit and be still and connect with your heart space. We're going to connect with you. We're always connected with you. However, we're strengthening this connection in this now moment so we are able to communicate on different levels. So right now, just everybody, just take a moment. You don't have to turn everything off or do anything outside to change the environment. Just sit for a second, 60 seconds, be still and be open. Yeah. Gently return, open your eyes, gently return to your consciousness. Take it easy. Just relax and allow yourself to feel your hands and feel your legs and Allow your eyes to adjust to the frequencies of this consciousness. And now we're ready to discuss feelings. As always, we'll conduct today's Let's Build in the format of a seminar, which will be a small 15-minute piece. We'll do a small group discussion here at the Ra live, and then we will take a break and then have a discussion with you all and address any inquiries and anything that you all have to share. And now we're ready to feel. So, the nature of all our communications up to this point have been strongly surrounding the practices associated with grounding. Grounding being the foundation of your awakening. Basically, the movement from your consciousness, movement of your consciousness from the mind identity, the thinking, logical analysis of the mind identity, and feeling that you are the physical body, thoughts, opinions, ideas. This is all the mental identity. The nature of grounding itself is about moving from this space back to this space, the heart space where you are operating from the intuition, operating beyond the illusion of space and time, beyond the illusion of feeling that there's a past or a future, the reality that this now moment is all there is. This moment where eternity exists, where you are experiencing your creation, all that is, all that has ever been, and being but your own energy, the home of infinite intelligence, the source of all that is, and all being an electromagnetic hologram that you're experiencing, that you designed as a path for yourself, and being a catalyst of your awakening and realizing who you are as the creator. Who you are as the creator. When I say who you are, I reiterate who you are, because beyond the illusion of separation and saying that we are, in actuality, in truth, the foundation of all of this is that you are the creator, experiencing yourself amongst all reflections of self. There is no we, it's I am. Yes, we are. However, at the foundation of that reality is the I am, the all, the one, who you are as the creator. We talk about feelings today. Every now and then I take notes for our builds. However, I felt it would be counterproductive to speak about feelings and the intuition with notes. It's less intuitive, less feeling, and me taking notes to speak on feelings and be here and be present. The trust and confidence remains in knowing where the practice of expressing to you the nature of feelings is in my ability to do the same. Recognize that the feelings, the emotions, the energy in motion, the emotion is where you connect with the intuition in being the home of infinite intelligence. Take a moment to be present. See, can you do me a favor and close the windows where the draft is bothering me a little bit and the cars outside? So just take a moment to be present. Recognize this. When you get up in the morning, when you rise to start your day, prior to you opening your mouth to say anything, to do anything, to even move, there's a sense of presence. There's peace. The sense of presence remains within the frequency of peace. The consciousness, the conscious state of being conscious of who you are is conscious. You're awake. You are all of a sudden aware that you are awake, that you are conscious. This space we recognize as presence. Prior to the thought patterns and tasks that come about, okay, I have to go to work. Let me get up and brush my teeth. Let's fix breakfast. I overslept. What time is it? Prior to all of these thought patterns, there is an awareness of being awake. I'm here. I'm in my bed. My eyes are open. I'm waking up from sleep. That presence, this is what you start with. On the other end of the spectrum, when you get into bed, when you're preparing to fall asleep, there are thought patterns of what took place during the day, what happened a few minutes ago, what can make me a little more comfortable in lying in the bed, what will help me to go to sleep or doze off a little easier. There may be those thought patterns. However, prior to the actual rest, there's a presence that's beyond these thought patterns, that's comfortable, a sense of comfort, a sense of being. There's a peace. You return to this same presence prior to going to sleep. All of that to say this: beyond the temporary experiences and emotions and thought patterns and activities that take place all throughout our day, everything that happens, all of the rigmarole, judgments, talking, conversation, tasks, dramas, joys, happiness, bliss, all of this, all of the temporary experiences, emotions, and feelings that we experience throughout the day, we always return to that presence, to that peace, to that state of being. This state of being, ladies and gentlemen, is the truth of who you are as God, as eternity. You sense and realize that you are not the temporary emotions. Emotions are temporary. You're not the temporary feelings. You are not the actions that take place throughout the day. These are all temporary experiences and expressions that exist within the illusion of linear time. You are the eternity of that presence, that space of beingness, that sense of existence, that consciousness of one's own consciousness. This is who you are. The many things that take place within the linear illusion remains illusory in light of who you are as the divine. Now that we've established that, let's get into the nature of the temporary emotions and feelings that we experience here in the physical. We express today to you that an aspect of your evolution or your awakening, the path of spiritual maturity, your healing. And amongst this healing, there is a realization, a gradual realization of that which is the truth of who you are, which resonates with the truth of who you are. Yes, the emotions are temporary. However, there are emotional distortions that exist on a lower frequency. And there are emotional frequencies that exist within the higher realms, within highly vibratory light frequencies that we experience on a daily basis as well. As you mature, you're coming to realize that which is out of alignment with the truth of yourself as far as the emotional experiences, emotional frequencies that are based on an illusory reality of separation, destruction, suffering, lack, and limitation. You're recognizing the uplifting vibratory energies of inspiration and joy and laughter and compassion, forgiveness, satisfaction, pleasure. These things cater to a sense of gratitude, a pleasant sense of being that is natural. The maturing, the healing that's taking place is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not about knowing. Knowing doesn't allow you to embody what you know just to consciously know. One can be aware of the nature of jealousy intellectually, however, still experience jealousy emotionally. One can be consciously aware of the nature of anger and it catering to suffering or being a disguise of fear, however, still become angry. The healing process is a gentle process of unfoldment of the embodiment of such a balance, such a sense of presence. It's constant. I'll pull you a little closer so we can talk. You're still healing. The foundation of healing is an acceptance. The foundation of your ability to heal is in your ability to accept where you are. Accept all that's taking place. Yes, I am your commander. Yes, the connections and experiences that I've had consciously are vast. However, I've chosen to experience the human experience with you. And by no means is this easy. So yes, sometimes I find myself in frustration. Sometimes I find myself in physical pain or experiencing the illusional distortions that come with the separated experience, the illusion. However, it's in my ability to continue to forgive and be gentle with myself, to continue to accept myself, the level of self-love that I have that allows me to continue forward, continue with the work, continue to express the nature of divine truth, continue to express amongst the self, the reflections of self, the nature of this path. That level of self-love is necessary to continue to do the work, inside and outside. It'd be very easy for a person to speak on the nature of divine truth and not have to go through the experience themselves. It'd be very easy for me to just speak objectively and say, oh, this is what's necessary. This is out of alignment. This is why there's anger and things of this nature, and not have to experience the anger, not have to experience the temptation to fight or any other form of distortion. It'd be very easy to do this, because then the work of self-love is not necessary, or self-forgiveness is not necessary. But in actuality, this is the hardest work. The hardest work is not in expressing and writing and doing the guidance. The hardest work is taking place inside while continuing to express the guidance and be 100% honest. Yes, we're on the live feed and I'm speaking to an audience of 34, 35 people. However, in actuality, deep within, I recognize that I'm actually speaking to myself. And recognizing the nature of this holographic experience, I'm speaking to myself. And in actuality, it's necessary for you to recognize the same. So, you're continuing to heal. The healing is going to continue. However, it's a blessing. It's a great blessing and a great honor to be here. A great miracle to be awakened and be able to recognize what's necessary internally and actually do the work, to be conscious of oneself and the nature of all that's taking place. However, consciously be aware of that which is out of alignment with one's truth. The intellectual work is easy. What we speak about here is the embodiment of the work. The ability to remain present and recognizing the person that's being very disrespectful or yelling at you is in pain. In actuality, recognizing that it is a call for help. They're in pain, and they're attempting to hold you responsible for their pain. However, as a healer, your wisdom is in seeing beyond what is the superficial argument and assuming that it's something that you're doing. They're in pain, and they may be they may assume that they're disrespecting you as a person, but in actuality, they are either looking for help or they're afraid. In actuality, if they are afraid, they're still looking for your help. To accept all of these feelings, to accept these things, to allow all of this without participating. Because in actuality, all the things that are taking place amongst humanity right now, a lot of it has to do with attempting to get you to participate, or attempting to get you to participate in the lower frequencies. They want you to be sad. They want you to be sympathetic versus empathetic. Sympathetic versus empathetic. These are two different frequencies. Sympathy says, I feel pity and I feel sorry for those people, those innocent victims that are experiencing what they're experiencing. Empathy, on the other hand, is a frequency in alignment with compassion. It recognizes the infinite intelligence that is and knows that each and every one of these individuals are omnipotent. They are the creator experiencing what they decided to experience for themselves. And beyond the superficial nature of what's taking place, there is an absolutely magnificent blessing that is unfolding for each and every one of them. It's just necessary for them to experience what they're experiencing, accept what's taking place, where they're not victims. They are the creator experiencing their creation. And empathy says, yes, I've experienced pain. I've lost many things in my life physically. I've experienced emotional traumas on many different levels. However, just like I got through it, they will as well. You recognize their strength and you send them love. You send them healing, and you are open to be of assistance to all souls. However, you recognize that there are no victims here. You're going to be taunted into anger, taunted into frustration and debates. People are going to attempt to get you to participate in the dramas of their experience, attempt to get you involved in the gossip that is stemmed from the low self-esteem or boredom or dissatisfaction that they have with their own experience. However, you have the wisdom to relax and digress from participating in such chaos. You recognize that your attention remains your manifestation energies. Here's what's helpful with meditation, with grounding. With the many grounding exercises, not only meditation. When I say meditation, we're not speaking about meditation exclusively. We're speaking of living in the moment and doing what you want to do in this now moment, where when you do this, you're existing beyond the thought patterns of what's next. You're in the moment. And in the moment is where you're present and you're enjoying the miracle. You're completely focused and you're 100% invested in that which is now, that which is in front of you. This is where you want to be. This is where you're most effective. This is where 100% of all that you are invested in the miracle of this now moment. It's not tomorrow. It's not later. It's not yesterday. It's here. The many grounding exercises, they assist you in being present. They assist you in feeling more and embracing the feelings that you have in this now moment, because the nature of your experience here in the physical, the miracle that is this now moment, is meant for you to feel. You're here to feel what it feels like to be here now. How you feel now is your blessing. And how you feel now and your conscious awareness of how you feel now is largely responsible for what happens next. This is where, through your feelings, this is where you are choosing the nature of that which is taking place or unfolding, the conditions of which what is unfolding, the conditions of what is unfolding at present. So it is completely and extremely wise to be aware and conscious of how you feel, to embrace how you feel, to in actuality, to accept how you feel. This is where you're connecting with your intuition. This is where you're connecting with the guidance that's being provided constantly by who you are of your angelic guardians. We're constantly speaking to you. We are constantly communicating with you. It does not stop. There is not a moment that ever goes by that we are not speaking directly to you. However, the gauge that determines your ability to sense and connect deeper with the nature of these communications lies in your ability to feel. When we communicate with you, we're not necessarily speaking to you in English or German or Swahili or whatever language you speak in your head. We're not speaking to you in this particular way. We're communicating through your feelings, through your intuition. And this is beyond all languages. We speak to you through your feelings, the notions, the eye and hand movement, the many small, gentle gestures that unfold throughout your experiences. This is where we communicate with you. This is where you recognize the blessing and wisdom that comes with sensitivity. There are many of you who are extremely sensitive, who herald yourselves as empaths. This is where our connection is. You have these blessings, and they are blessings. amongst the earth plane, amongst humanity. It has been a devastating program that has caused many to fall into deep downward spirals of fear, to feel that sensitivity is a weakness. Sensitivity is not about being weak. It's about being more conscious of your consciousness. You're more conscious of your presence. You're sensitive. Your senses are strengthened. You're conscious. You're connected to all that is. You're connected. You feel existence. You embrace existence. You are connected. It's not a weakness. It's not a flaw. It's not a problem. It's truly a blessing. And this is where you connect. I'll close our talk out with this. Your strength, your maturity, your courage, your wisdom, all lies in your ability to accept how you feel. To accept how you feel, to be absolutely honest with yourself and look in the mirror and accept how you feel. To attempt to run away, to hide, to tuck, to push away, ignore, to run away from how you feel is an expression of fear and ignorance. One of the strongest programs that exist amongst many humans, especially when it comes to males, especially when it comes to the male framework, is in feeling that you are to deny your feelings, to deny yourself the ability to cry, to deny your vulnerability. This is where most souls enslave themselves. They remain in bondage and continue to exist in spiritual immaturity. They deny themselves their feelings. They attempt to act as if how they feel doesn't exist. No one is here to tell you to be fake happy all the time. There are many souls that'll tell you, oh no, just be positive, just be positive, just to be positive, and it's such a great thing. Be positive, be positive. Yeah, that's all. Just smile and be positive. And this is a rhetoric of the ego mind. Change is constant. The waters of unconditional love are not to be played with. The intensity of the human experience is intense, to say the least. The waters are rocky. However, the captain of a ship is not trained in calm waters. In rocky waters, does a captain put on his stripes? It's going to rain. However, the sun always comes up again. But during the rain, it's necessary for you to shine the light. However, shining that light only takes place in your ability to move beyond the distortions. You can only move beyond the distortions through allowing them to flow through you. So attempt to stop them, to stop yourself from crying, to stop yourself from feeling jealous or angry or whatever the case may be, whatever distortion there may be. You may be experiencing a lack of resources. You may be in physical pain. There are many times that I've come to you in physical pain to express what I'm expressing you today, the same guidance. There's been times I've been in the hospital where my face is bloated because I'm filled with chemicals and IVs and things of this nature. But my desire to shine the light and serve as an example, my desire to express and radiate the nature of divine truth has allowed me to enjoy the pain. I'm not finished yet. There's still much to do. There's still much work to do. There's still much work to do on your end as well. However, through our focus, through our grounding, through our strength, through our determination, through our acceptance, we're able to continue to enjoy the pain and embrace all that is from a place of strength. Accepting your ability to be vulnerable, to cry and allow the tears to flow down your face, but still recognize that the reflection that you may look at is still that of God, is strength. Those who hold back their tears and act as if, or they attempt to act as if they do not feel, are lying to themselves, and they're in actuality hiding from themselves. It is in your strength to confront, stand your ground, and open your heart to who you are, to what you're experiencing, and feel life. The more you feel, the more you're able to love. It expands your capacity to love. We're here to feel. And while we're here and we heal, it's necessary to feel. Through feeling, we accept. Through acceptance, we heal. And as we heal, the illusory frequencies that we've been experiencing here on this plane, they're dissolving. The perfect analogy to what's taking place on planet Earth right now is a clean glass of dirty water being overflown with a clean bottle of water. The dirty water is coming out of the clean glass, and the clean water is moving into the glass. It's an allowance of all the dirty water to outflow, outpour, and be released as we are filled with our own true essence, that purity. However, we must allow the waters to flow through accepting how we feel. Having the wisdom to be strong enough to accept the way others feel and be empathetic towards how they feel. Because empathy is where we have the wisdom to put ourselves in the other person's shoes and say, okay, they're mad because of this. However, they're attempting to express their emotions to me. They're attempting to cuss and become irate. I'm here, I'm present, but in actuality, I'm helping them through remaining present and not participating. Allow them to vent. I'll be a soundboard. If you need to cuss me out, go ahead. It's all good. I'll be a soundboard. I'm not going anywhere. Why? Because I'm the light, the truth. Because I love you. I'm not going to run. I'm not going over here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay right here because I love you. Ladies and gentlemen, feel. This is our discussion today, and we continue to heal here on our Let's Build. So we are going to take a break, and our maestro is going to present us with another song, and then we will move into the open discussion portion of our build today. As always, we can't thank you enough for being here. It is a free will choice to be here and embrace and be open to that which resonates with you. If you do not resonate with what is being expressed here, once again, you're free to change the channel, but this is what we do here. This is a social gathering to speak on spiritual subject matters that pertain to the heart that we all share as one, as we move in deeper into this transition, which is the liberation of the human species here on planet Earth. I am your Commander Ashtar, and we will be back after these messages. As always, overseas.
Ladies and gentlemen, Starseeds, light workers, and all in the community, we thank y'all for being here. First of all, let me say, let us celebrate the fact that we can feel. And also celebrate the fact that we can continue to build here every Thursday. I would like to give a warm shout out to those in Houston, out there in Texas, dealing with those waters that we were just talking about. But of course, everything will be cleansed as you continue to heal yourself and help those that you can. And UBC Houston, we know that you guys are going to continue to progress this global healing with us. And we look forward to the next one on the 12th, as Miss Ellen Bush has already told me. So that's coming up. So with that being said, this song is called Celebrate. It's Commander Ashtar featuring Lukeman Star, Luke Mime, hailing from Chicago. However, right now he's doing his light work out in LA Los Angeles, California. So without further ado, celebrate.
A new day, right? Yeah. Sure. Sky. Joe. Forever. I'm so always celebrating the day. I'm happy for you too. We still here. Yeah. Salute the fleet one time. Yo, check 'em. Yo, God and the physical smile like a dentist. Cultivated intent, love, collect the interest. Radiating lavish, abundant, busting poses. Up the block, can't stop it, smell of posies. Cocky with the posse, angels all around me. Life forever funky, and we about to eat cup rugged beefy. Yeah, we ash talk, command flee straight out the heavenly. Yo, yeah, celebrate eternally. Yeah, I'm so happy for you. Celebrate, yo. I'm so happy for you. Da 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 da. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, whoa. So happy for you.
Hey, congratulations on your new job. Congratulations on your new car. Why hate? Cause I know I'm gonna get mine. Celebrate, don't hate first face when it's first time. It's a thin line between love and hate. Who you are, mad, nah. We all wanna elevate. Yeah, I'm straight. Birthday cake like the candles from the break. Carry out my day, nothing fake over side. Get fresh, get dressed, we pop the mob. World illusion, don't be tricked too quick for the eyes. Celebrate, I'm so happy for you. 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 Yeah, 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 I'm so happy for you. Celebrate. I'm so happy for you. Celebrate. I'm so happy for you. Celebrate. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you. Celebrate. I'm so happy for you. Celebrate. I'm so happy for you. Celebrate. I'm so happy for you. Yeah. We gon' celebrate. We gon' celebrate. We gon' celebrate. We gon' celebrate. We gon' celebrate.
So thank you for joining us once again, ladies and gentlemen. This is Les Bill, and of course, today's subject matter is feelings. We are going to continue on with our bill today through our group discussion, where we will talk about feelings from a broad sense amongst ourselves and sharing some stories that reflect upon the nature of this alignment that we are all experiencing amongst our paths. So, fellas, yo, what's good? Y'all ready to get in the cipher and talk?
Yeah. Cypher.
I like that song. That was hot.
So, get on the screen. Let's go this way. All right, cool. So, team, you want to start it off?
Feelings.
Yeah, tell a story, bro.
It's a broad subject, but it's we talk about so much.
As a
male, I think most of us are not really taught about our feelings, especially with how we're being raised to play sports and how we're supposed to act as a male energy, and just all these things. Father figure role, the uncles, the daddies coming around, and the friends. Hey, you gotta watch sports. You gotta play everything. A lot of this stuff kind of like blocks you and keeps you away from the other feelings that you're supposed to
discuss what's behind them.
That you're supposed to, engage into, I believe. And it took me a long time to figure out what feelings were. Because maybe before it was just, I didn't know about feelings. It was just keep everything suppressed.
You talking to us, bro. Back it up and talk to us. We're supposed to be talking amongst ourselves.
Talking to y'all too, man.
Well, no, they can view the conversation, but we're supposed to be talking to ourselves, like inner circle talk.
Yeah, like we always do.
Yeah, like we always do.
Come on, man.
What you doing?
Yeah, but if that's the case, I'm just gonna chill a little bit like this. Relax.
So we got a lot of feelings.
Relax like that in front of us, bro. Like you about to get in there or something. Like you just seduce somebody.
I got.
Hey, I'm gonna bring your feelings around here.
Now you guys hurt my feelings. Like, that is so messed up.
Now go ahead and say what you were
I
saying.
think most of us
Now I'm
was
sad.
basically raised to suppress our feelings. I'm assuming that because
Of course.
I think I didn't learn mine until like way later, maybe until like my kids were born, and this is why I learned a bunch of other stuff. But being a male back in those days in high school, you had those times when you had the people that you're supposed to care about that you probably didn't really care about. But I ain't gonna put nobody's business out there. But you know what I'm saying? We had those feelings that we suppressed because it was like, all right, whatever. I'm tough. I'm this. I'm a boy. I play sports. I like girls. I like women or whatever. And you kept everything deep inside, kind of.
I didn't
really know how to push it out. Yeah, I didn't know how to push it out. I didn't
Yeah,
know it existed.
my mom raised me, yo. She told me not to follow nobody, and if I felt a particular way, I should just own it. Like I shouldn't care about what nobody thought about how I felt or what I was doing or what I said. Like basically, if a person was to present judgment upon me, she was like, "Nah, you do what you want to do, boy. Don't let nobody control you. Like if you feel a particular way, you embrace your feelings and you do what you want to do. Don't let anybody push you around or control your emotions, because if you hold on to it, you hurting yourself." See, like your personal integrity and you accepting yourself and doing what you want to do is where you're a leader. Through you trying to put on a show for other people, or like my mom and dad get in an argument at the store, you know what I mean? And my pops be like, "Sheil, you know what? Sheil, why you talking so loud? This. She be like, I don't care about these people. I'm gonna say what I want to say." Like she'll get loud if you attempt to try to get her to be quiet and be fake for people. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, for her, that was like being fake, like trying to not cry or do what you want to do or say what you want to say in front of people. Basically, you trying to be fake or put on the show for folks. When at the end of the day, like if you're gonna be a leader, like you shouldn't care what nobody thought about you. You shouldn't care. You should do what you want to do. Like you don't let nobody control you, especially when it came to your emotions.
In our upbringing, in our neighborhoods, the only people that were so-called leaders was the biggest bully, right?
Right.
I wasn't no leader. I was like the little dude. I can't speak for nobody else, but I ain't even become a leader until I knew how to beat the bully, basically. So, being straightforward and having those feelings and those emotions, be able to say what you want to say from where we were raised and whatever, it kind of didn't exist. At least it didn't on my side of the track.
Mm-hmm. How was your upbringing, Angel?
For me? For me, it's a little bit different. Growing up, I was very sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have no problems like showing my feelings at a very young age, like no problems. But as I got older, going to high school, you know, is when I started to learn how to suppress my feelings, because it was so easy for people to make fun or pick up your vulnerabilities. You know, like if you felt sad, it wasn't cool to be, you know, start crying, or, you know, they'll see you as a little punk. So you had to act hard, you know, pause.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So in high school, I learned very.
Wow, pause on that too. Give him the drum piece. That's wax.
So yeah, well, I learned real quickly that to hide my feelings, as you know, I went through high school, and it wasn't about owning it. Anytime I try to own it, it just will backfire. You know, so because not a lot of people were receptive to it. It was certain feelings weren't cool. You know what I mean? And then so I wanted to be cool. So I hid those feelings for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not until I got, you know, out of high school, experienced certain things, and I realized that, you know, those feelings is part of who you are. It's like, it's always going to be a part of who you are. And once I started allowing myself to feel, is when I started to actually feel free to actually be me. I found myself. It was only until then I can actually find who I was. Until I started acting the way I wanted to feel. You know, and then obviously we know once we start to be who we are and start to feel the way we're supposed to feel, we start to create. We create. Because feelings, to me, and the way I see it, we start to create. Feelings are basically a reflection of what's going on around you. So when I noticed every time I felt happy, or if I expressed myself, my surroundings reflected the same. And so I knew that I was going in the right path then. But like I said, society can be very, very mean. Society can kind of brainwash you on the way you're supposed to be. And I think that once you get conscious of it and you start to, you know, wake it a little bit, you can step back and see for what it is. It's just a distortion. Like AZ says, just distortions after the other.
Mm-hmm.
And once you realize they're distortions, there's nothing stopping you. There's nothing stopping you.
So what's up with your upbringing, Corey?
Well, as y'all know, or maybe y'all don't, I was adopted. So from the age of 3, you know, my mother chose to adopt me. My father said, all right, he already had like 5 biological children. I was like the 6th as far as being adopted. My mother would always tell me not to allow anyone to see me weak. You know, her thing was like, we're Black, and, you know, it was already hard to grow up in this world as that, being, you know, always ridiculed or thought of as something below other races. Also, she basically, you know, was reflecting her way of holding her feelings in or letting other people see it towards me as well. Like, you know, if I'm gonna be like this, you won't be like that. My father was different. My father, you know, he always expressed his emotions. Now, he didn't do it very openly towards everyone, but with me, with my sister, you know, within the family, and I think among some of his close buddies, especially when he go out there golfing. I know he told me some of the stories that he would say, the conversations that he would have. However, for me, I held in my feelings a long time. The point that I didn't let my feelings go, when I first really let my feelings go and didn't care what anybody thought, was in basic training. It was actually the first day that we did a rigorous physical training, PT regimen, and we were doing the flutter kick, which is, you know, an ab exercise where you're moving your feet up and down, you know, and I was crying. I was thinking in my head about my family, everything, the pain I was going through, all of that, and I started crying. I didn't even notice. I didn't even realize that I was crying. But the drill sergeant, the shortest drill sergeant, funny because his name was Joe Summer Smith. He came up and was like, "Go ahead, Private Marshall. Go ahead, Private Marshall. Cry it out, boy. Cry it out. Cry it out." And he did it. And he did it in front of all of the, it was just us at Fort Knox. It was just only men training together. And, I didn't realize that I was crying so bad. But then when it happened, afterwards, I was like, oh man, I just cried in front of all my battle buddies, like the new guys here. But none of them chastised me for it. None of them really was like, man, you whack. Yeah, you whack or whatever for that. So I think that was a showmanship of being a leader as far as expressing my emotions, not realizing I was doing it. But later on, I realized that, when you're open and you allow your feelings to run through and you express it in certain ways, whether crying, smiling, laughing, however, people are more generally gonna feel like they could, embrace you, follow you, whatever. And so that was like the breaking point for me when I really just released my feelings without even me realizing it. And then after that, I had no issue with being expressive with my feelings, and it just made things a whole lot better. I didn't follow my mom's rhetoric anymore. My father, he shared, but he was a little timid to be super open, and I just took the latter and went with it. So.
So what's good? Marcel just joined us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Introduce yourself to the people.
Long time ago.
Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen. This is Marcel, one of our comrades, our universal brothers, joining us after a long time. What you been doing, man?
It's a long time ago.
Yeah, we're talking about feelings today, bro. So
How do you feel, bro?
Those steps.
Yeah. The stairway to the ride, right?
Nah, just we basically just talking about like when we became comfortable with our feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like when we kind of like experience how we expressed ourselves emotionally, like growing up. Like, was there like a breakthrough point for you in your life, like with your mom or pops or whatever? Like, was there something in your life that kind of like made you aware of your emotions?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Like what?
Of course. But I guess my English is not good enough to
We hear you.
explain it in English.
German.
Say it in German then.
I got your
So
translators
there are many
ready.
steps. But just give me a moment so I can.
Yeah. I'm trying to catch my breath from the stairs.
Yes.
This is the off glitch.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
But what about breakthroughs with feelings? I mean, you got good feelings, you got bad feelings, right? Or of course, that's just distortions. But
If anything, it's just it's the point where you come to accept them.
Right.
That's so pinnacle to like a person's maturity. Like when you just come to accept, you feel a particular way and you stop hiding it.
right,
Or trying to act like you don't feel it. Like
Right.
when you actually can look yourself in the face and say, I feel like this. I don't care what nobody
Right.
think about it. Or I don't care if people don't like
Right.
it and all this
Right.
other kind of stuff. Like that's when you're honest with yourself and
Right.
you're not putting on the show.
Yep.
You're not being fake. Or you trying to be strong or what another person considers to be strong.
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
And
Like
it's-
when you come to accept it, that's the point.
Right.
That's when you step into this
Yeah.
like the leadership role, because then
Right.
it's not about how people look at you or reputation. It's about you accepting how you feel and being honest
Right.
with yourself.
Right.
But the thing is, that takes confidence and courage, like to
Yeah.
accept yourself. Like because at the end of the day, most people around you won't feel how you feel. Like, oh, I don't know why you tripping
Yeah,
about
sure.
that. Da, 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 da. But like, well, then, come on, bro, for real.
Confidence and courage is like it's like you're forcing it,
Huh?
to be
think it's-
confident.
No,
and
no,
courage
you're
to have
accepting
the
that
feeling.
you're experiencing.
I would just say accept.
That's what I'm saying. The
When
thing
you
is, it
say
takes
confidence and courage,
confidence and courage to accept that
You
you
might
feel
not
the
have
way
it.
you feel.
I think it's just straight acceptance. Because if you had a confidence and the courage, like you gotta force yourself to accept it. And you shouldn't have to force yourself.
No, you just
No,
accept
well,
it.
but I think what he's saying
Yeah,
is
it's very
what courage is basically is doing something even though you're afraid.
You're down.
Right.
Exactly.
So you go
you're
ahead.
forcing
So-
yourself.
You're not
No,
doing that.
no.
You're not forcing
You're not
yourself.
forcing it. You're afraid
You're
afraid
afraid.
you're afraid to say to yourself that you hurt right
Right.
now.
Right.
Or that you're
But-
scared.
Yeah, you're not forcing
Or
it.
you
just
like, you know what I mean? The thing is, acceptance is where you like basically accept that you hurt. But the
Right.
thing is, that takes bravery.
Right.
You have to be brave to say, okay,
it is a
I'm
process,
hurt.
basically. It's not something that you just snap and be like, hey, you know, we went through a process to get to where we are right now.
Mhm.
It isn't something that you just wake up and you say, okay, I got it. You
No doubt.
you got to earn
I would
where
use a
you
different-
are right
I would
now.
use a different phrase or word than confidence and being brave, though, because I mean, I feel what you're saying. You're right.
Yeah.
But when you say confidence and brave, it sounds like you gotta conjure up some
Of
strength.
course you
do.
do. You got to.
You
Or
do.
what about just letting go?
Okay,
No,
let me
but the thing is,
give you
even to
an
let
example.
go, it's a process.
Let me.
Let go
There is a
is
process.
like,
You
no.
can't know. Well, the thing is,
Yeah,
before
the
you can let
process
go,
is probably before that point, all the stuff that you learn and all the stuff that you experience up to that point.
I'm
yes.
gonna give you an example.
But to be able to just let go is just letting go. You don't really have to build up.
You can't let go. Listen,
Just
you
let go.
can't let go of something that you don't know, you can't see, you don't have in your hand. And in order to see that there's a problem, you got to see it for what it is
Exactly.
and then let it go.
Exactly.
You can't just
It's
let
a
go.
process.
You can't let go of what you don't know what you're letting go.
That's-
So this
It's
is
going to build up first, and then
Yeah.
you can release.
No doubt.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and let me
what
give
you're
you
talking
an
about is building up to a point of where you got to have some
But
courage.
it's
and
been
bravery
part- but the
just
thing
to
is-
let it go.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's been part of you for so long. It isn't easy to let go. It takes bravery.
I understand.
It
It
takes-
I wouldn't use bravery though. I mean,
It
I would
does.
use bravery.
It is
I would
brave,
to-
and I'll
to
tell you
go
why,
through
because I
it.
went through it personally. Okay, so, and I'll give you an example of what I mean. Maybe this would be put it more in perspective. Okay, jealousy. We've all been there, right? We've been there where we've been jealous.
Mhm.
Okay, so that is a feeling that isn't very easily. You can't easily let go. It's going to take confidence. It really will take confidence. It's going to take courage to let it go. Okay, so now you go through a process, and you get jealous. You're in a relationship with someone, and somebody might look at your girl a certain way, or your girl looks at somebody else a certain way, or hold on, let me finish. Then you see that your girl maybe fancies somebody else,
Mhm.
right? It's hard to let that go sometimes, especially if the ego's involved, right?
Of course.
The ego involved. The ego does not. Okay, the ego rather kill itself before being wrong. So you got an image about yourself, right? Maybe
Mhm.
you have an image about yourself. Somebody else might not have that image of that. But once somebody threatens that, you react. You either get angry, upset. You react.
You defense.
You get defense mode.
Mhm.
And jealousy plays a lot into that. So I wouldn't say it is something you can just let go, because it is a process that you have to go through. And I think it does take confidence, and a lot of confidence, and I think it takes a lot of courage. Now,
I say it's just that
now,
word, confidence.
when you start to see it for what it is, you say, okay,
confident enough to just
right.
let
Well,
things be.
Well, listen, if you see jealousy, if you can see it and see it for what it is, say, why am I jealous? And then you realize that it's just false truth that you made about yourself. Okay, why am I jealous? Is it because I'm not good looking enough? Am I jealous? Am I just because I feel like that person, it has better features than I do, or better aspects of themselves? Am I jealous because I'm afraid that I'll lose that person? Those are all lies that you're telling yourself, right? Once you realize that they're lies, and you realize that none of that stuff is true, and that you're better than that, then you're like, I see it, and I see why I'm jealous, and then you can allow it to let it go. So it is a process, but I don't think it's something that you can just do without realizing and understanding, and because it's been part of you so long, it's going to take courage to let go. It's going to take confidence in yourself to let it
You
go.
already been through that process. You've been through your whole life. It's not like it's something separate from
Well, there's people who've been through it their whole life, but
You
still,
don't
yeah.
have to build up and have the balls to not be jealous. Confidence, yes, I agree with confidence, but the courage and all that other stuff is like you're.
So you don't think you would be afraid to let go of that?
If we're thinking in societies today's
No, just
feelings
in individual.
blah, blah, blah,
Just you.
me.
Yeah, you.
No,
You wouldn't be afraid
I,
to
me,
let go
personally,
of that feeling, of that protective feeling.
I have understood that letting go is the best thing I can do.
Absolutely, it is.
I have.
Absolutely.
I can't speak for nobody else, and it works like it's supposed to be. It
Right.
really does. But for me to try to build up to it and have the bravery to go on a mission, or the bravery to go talk to this girl, or the bravery to do all these things.
The thing is, because of the fear of
I'm not
rejection.
letting go. But yeah, that's
That's
what
what
I'm
the
trying.
fear.
That's what I'm trying
But
to
the
build
thing
up
is,
to. But I don't want to build.
But the thing is
It just happens. Just like the things that
If you listen to what bravery is.
bravery is based on your ability to face that which you feel.
Right. That's
The
what it is.
Sometimes falling back can do that. I
But that's
see
what I'm
how
saying.
you work.
But the thing
sometimes.
is
Right.
you
You
cannot.
are
You
not
can't-
brave in what you do. You just go and do it.
Right. I'm afraid when I'm doing it, but I do it. I know that maybe I might get rejected, but knowing that I'm afraid of that, that's brave because I'm afraid, but I'm
Exactly.
still doing it.
But you facing it.
I'm facing it. I'm facing it.
That's the nature of
Because a lot of
bravery.
people, they don't face their fears and they follow them forever. Until you face your fears and see it for what it is and let it go, you're gone from that. You're free from that fear.
But
There's many
free,
fears.
but
There's
free,
so
there's-
many.
but
Going
to
to talk
free-
to somebody is a fear.
No,
Of course,
that's
rejection.
Of course, that's just a little. That's just a little example.
But if you got the confidence, then
But the
Not
thing
everybody-
is, everybody don't have it. They have to develop it.
I'm not saying the confidence to know that you're not gonna get rejected. The confidence in being okay with being rejected.
Well, that's part of it.
Everybody got that.
You gotta know. Not everybody has that
course not.
confidence, and then
Yeah.
the courage.
But the confidence comes after that, though. Because then you're confident that what it doesn't. You start to, once you let it go, the confidence is there. Like
Most definitely.
I'm not nearly as jealous as I used to be. I mean, you guys know. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you,
That's a question.
no.
Yeah.
I will say this. I get a little bit jealous,
Okay,
but I'm mature enough to step back and see why I'm jealous, and then let it go.
No doubt.
Because some people don't have that maturity. Some people will hold on to it and
Okay.
entertain it for the rest of their lives,
Exactly.
and it'll kill them.
Or
And so-
ruin a relationship.
And so I'm so free from that. I can say that I am free from that, and I don't have to ever worry about it because I went through it, saw it for what it is, and let it go, and it doesn't follow me anymore. It makes me a better person, and I feel my consciousness, my conscious level, I'm like the person that I am is a little bit better, a better human being.
You're more charismatic.
More charismatic, or as a human, as a whole, as a person, I am better for it. That's what I mean.
He got mad feelings.
Jealous. It's a
I'm just
difficult
saying.
feeling.
I'm just saying.
I think-
The thing is, fear isn't real. We all feel it, but fear isn't real.
Go ahead, Marcel.
Right.
I think jealous is it's very difficult to explain. Jealous is something like I think it's growing in you and to have something to do with your past. Because if you start your first relationship or your girl hurts you, there's something that starts growing inside of you, and it's getting harder and harder to get it by side. Yeah, this feeling
Because you don't
go
face
in a
it.
new relationship. Yeah, to put it by side and say this is another person. I can't put my past, my feelings from this person who hurts me
On
in a
a
new
new person,
relationship.
yeah.
Yeah, I have to put trust in this person
most
again. Yeah, and I have to put jealous by side. That's what I was thinking.
And but the thing is, and this is the way I see it, and maybe you guys don't feel this way,
No,
but the way I feel is that any negative feeling, it doesn't matter if it's you're angry, you're jealous, you're envious, the root of those feelings come from fear. So if you can find out what it is you're afraid of,
Mm-hmm.
and you see it for what it is, naked in your face, pause, right? Then you can allow it and let it go.
He's scared. He's scared.
All right. No, I know these guys. That's why I say that. I was ready for it. I'm trying to protect myself. But if you can see it for what it is,
See, that's fear.
Yeah, that's it right there. Let go, man.
So hold on,
So, I mean, do you agree with me? Like,
no.
if you can see it for what it is,
no doubt.
you can let it go, and then we try to improve ourselves and become like the best person that we can be, and we're not perfect. All I'm saying is that we try to be the best version of ourselves.
We work on ourselves.
We work on ourselves,
basis,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, it's about acceptance. I feel like, of course, fear is at the root. You're correct in that notion. It's just when you recognize that you're scared, as far as attempting to analyze and identify exactly what it is that you're afraid of, is limited, because it's the mind, the logical mind, attempting to figure out, okay, it's that. And now I need to reverse engineer what that is. But at the same time, divinity doesn't necessarily work like that. There can be built up emotions from many, many lifetimes within our emotional body that are basically healed through our acceptance of them and the intent to evolve beyond them, where life and experience will unravel them on like naturally through infinite intelligence, where the experiences that are brought forth through our intentions will reveal to us and basically untangle those blockages within our energy field to allow us to evolve beyond it. You know what I'm saying? So
right. I mean, at the end of the day, you can't really analyze it and dissect it to the end.
Yeah, most of that. That's what I'm saying.
But you can reasonably say, I'm feeling like this. It's because, like he said, maybe an experience happened. Maybe something, happened in the past, and you can't let go somehow. And if you realize after what it is, and you know that it isn't real, and like you said, this is something that isn't something,
Yeah, no doubt. Like mentally identified. Like, okay, is this? And now I just gotta.
It's like, wait a second, you can't analyze this. This isn't real. Then you let it. I feel like a lot of those feelings. When I did that, I was able to let go.
No doubt. No doubt. And because you you associated it with something, but it's like, okay, that's bogus.
That's bogus.
That's not. That doesn't have any foundation in truth. So I'm kind of fearing an illusion right now.
And I'm like, yo,
and you can like rationalize with yourself, like, okay, you know what, that's kind of bogus or whatever. But at the same time, you still might feel like the resonance
of course,
of the, because at the end of the day, you like logically you figured it out or whatever, and you kind of see it, but you still feel it. You
still feel it. Yeah, and
you know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing. Evolving isn't about being always positive and letting go of all that stuff. Is there realization that you know what it is, and you allow yourself to accept it, like you said, accept it, and then you in turn let it go. Once you acceptance, right? You said in acceptance, you are able to let go.
Absolutely.
So cool. Feelings.
was gonna say something.
Yeah.
Did you say what you was gonna say? Yeah.
No, I already said what I.
Okay.
No. Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for joining us at our Let's Build today. Our discussion is feelings. We're ending the discussion portion amongst ourselves, and we're going to take a break. I'm going to hand it over to our maestro, and when we return, we're going to go into our final portion, which will be basically us addressing any inquiries, any stories that you all have to share about your experience with feelings and the aspect or unfoldment of accepting your feelings and allowing them, where, of course, allowances and acceptance is what is allowing you to continue to heal. So once again, we're here present and balanced and recognizing that life is an ultimate blessing and a miracle. And there's more to realize and more to feel as we expand here on the new earth, always and representing the light. So thank you all for joining us today. Big shout out to God Amun, AAA, Marcel, and your maestro overseas, which has another song for you, which we will play right now prior to our return. So what's up, G?
Yeah. So basically, with that groundwork we just did down here, leave nothing left to chance, please. Go with your feelings, express your feelings, have the confidence, have the courage, have the bravery to see.
No, not the bravery, correct.
No, you don't have the bravery. You don't have the bravery. No. Have the bravery, ladies and gentlemen, to share those feelings, especially the bravery to trust and, basically accept it within yourself. before, you fabricate something in your mind that's not true. And like Angel said, you're going to fabricate something in your mind, but when you realize that it's not real, you can go ahead and let it go. But you still got to be brave and have the confidence to do so. It's not easy, but no one said this light work was going to be easy. No one said working on yourself internally and self-love was going to be easy. But that's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to build. And without further ado, this song is called Nothing Left to Chance. So, and while we play this song, please go ahead and send your questions on through. I believe Aman will check the question board. We will all check the question board together. We'll go ahead and do this while the song is playing. And once again, thank you for tuning in.
Peace. Love to everybody.
Retro Doge, yeah. Love, yeah. A toast to the underdogs. All seas reach the surface from the underground. Uplift the frequency and uptick. More magic demonstrations for the earth kids. Abracadabra, right. Sunshine still brighten up the night sky. It can reflect or be the rack. Rock rise in the east and sets in the west. Arms up on the ground to show royal cracks. More respect to creators, seeing more blessings. With the levels of forgiveness when we stay cool. Chill. It's not much to change, baby. Y'all stepping through some more portals, setting, rearranging even more gorgeous. Intuitive as Morpheus, blinking it all, but Neo and Oracle still don't see the gift. And we drop into the drift as the time ticks. Relevance, infinite intelligence. Let the clouds move smooth with significance. Jump, stepping into the ocean sky, glittering. Emptiness, play the grass with creation crystal. Activation taking place throughout the surface as we elevate. More connections being made in my meditations. So amazing how the operations integrated. And the cornerstone kicking it with ninjas on undercover missions, creeping, looking alien. Through the wilderness naked, no protection, over hardest, more shocking as we step back to heaven. Trust it. Attitude, stay ravishing in gratitude. More views all around with my altitude. Attitude when you know the truth within the truth. Shining light so bright, it's like battlehood. Unified is how we rise, repping one truth. Unconditional it is, don't nobody lose. Tell them dudes love ain't never been about conquest. Watch Christ resurrect from out the projects. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
We out here. Yeah. Red. OJ. Southside, what up? You know how we do. We on the ground. Let's do it.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So let's build. Once again, our discussion today is on feelings, and we are moving to our last and final portion of today's proceedings. It's already 10:20, but of course we'll go as long as necessary to entertain all the questions and some of the stories that you guys are sharing with us. Always a great honor and pleasure to connect and share with the whole community. CeeLo, you're gonna do our questions today.
Yeah, let me chime back in here. Let's
Okay.
if are you on the feed, Angel?
Yeah, I'm on the feed.
Cool.
Okay. I guess no questions, but I think stories or comments.
Yeah, you want to share a couple stories?
Let me see here. Okay, somebody.
So as you can see, I got that bag, Victoria. Thank you so very much. A great,
Yeah. Shout out.
most deaf.
All right. Okay.
What's up?
I don't know how to say her name.
Liliana.
Nice name.
Yeah, awesome.
She says I've never resonated with jealousy, and thankfully I didn't allow it to grow. Actually, with the emotion, I didn't understand why people choose to experience since it's so toxic. But most of my partners have had it toward me. I was wondering, is it possible that my soul chose such partners in order to reflect something? But all in all, everything serves, and I'm thankful always.
Of course, what we choose to experience and the partners we select, are of course divinely ordered, and they reveal certain aspects of the experience, of the emotional experience. Once again, as you stated, this is something that you haven't had to work through. As far as the distortion of jealousy, this is a beautiful thing. However, a part of the human experience or the experience of the incarnates amongst humanity often experience that jealousy. And of course, as a healer and providing your service amongst humanity, it will be necessary for you to have the level of compassion and empathy towards such a frequency through experiencing it yourself, not necessarily through oneself, but through the partnerships that you've had, so you could basically develop a sense of connection with those emotions. Once again, a beautiful thing to not be able to experience it. However, the way that you did experience it was necessary for you, so you could, if you will, recognize that it is a distortion throughout the lives of many. So once again, thank you for chiming in and sharing your story. A great blessing always. What you got, bro?
I got a few questions. Mel sent me earlier from Julie Rogers. Get my phone real quick. It was a list. I did tell her it was an abundant list that she should also send it to you personally. But we can get a couple questions off of here because these have very much relevance to feelings. It's actually all about feelings, these questions.
Okay.
So let me go ahead and get up in here real quick. All right, so I'll just pick a couple, all right? These are from Julie Rogers, who's wasn't able to attend this evening to the Let's Build. So on her behalf, I will ask a few questions. Can feeling be transferred and how?
Can feeling be transferred and how? So of course, feelings represent a frequency radiating from our presence. As far as the transferring of feelings, basically, this is the nature of sound vibrations, the nature of words. Basically, we use words or sound vibrations to transfer feelings from one being to another. We basically clothing our feelings with the sound vibrations or words expressed from the tongue to attempt to describe the feeling that we have to another. This is basically the nature of our communications. This is a how. There's quite a few different methods or vehicles of energy transfer, being that everything is energy. And once again, we exist within this fabric we know is love. and transfer these energies quite often. I would probably stay away from the how, because this is, basically the logical mind attempting to realize the nature of what's taking place, or how this transfer works through the intention of exchanging a feeling or vibration with another is quite natural. It happens quite naturally. So yes, the energies are transferred. Communications do take place. The how is something you probably want to stay away from, but it does happen. So yeah, what else you got?
Another interesting question. How do you recognize a blocked feeling?
A blocked feeling?
Blockages, I guess.
A sense of discomfort. The discomfort within one's being. You could sense the sometimes there's like butterflies in the stomach, or what some will describe as a knot in the stomach, where there's a feeling, there's an attempt to express or desire to express it, and that knot is there where you're unable to express it somehow based on a blockage. It's quite a few different ways of noticing it, but based on the nature of the question itself, it's implied that there's a blockage off of the strength of the nature of the question itself. So, yeah.
Do we mentally construct feelings?
No. The mental activity or thought patterns are logical attempts that are limited to rationalize or explain the nature of our feelings. Some can do them quite eloquently. However, at the same time, energetically, the explanations don't necessarily do the feeling itself justice. Just as these communications are but they can be beautiful and are beautiful. However, once again, the energy itself, the radiant energy itself in its potent, purest form is much more beautiful when experienced versus expressed.
All right. And I know another question was, how is the weather tied to our feelings?
That's a beautiful, beautiful one. I like that. I feel like the question would be better phrased as, how does the weather affect how we feel? However, even deeper than that is our ability to recognize the beauty in the weather, where I'm playing, if you will. I'm playing because the question is so beautiful, and it's poetic in actuality. Put it this way. We have the ability to harness the energies that are implied through the weather. Of course, there's there's a frequency of being that is implied on a rainy day, and there's a frequency of being that is implied on a sunny day. However, these are but judgments. There can be a smile on a rainy day. There can be a smile on a snowy afternoon. There can be a melancholy sense of sadness on a sunny day. However, our ability to be present and see from a place of balance and actually feeling our feelings and can allow us to harness the energies of the day and allow them to work for us. Never are we subjected to the frequency of the illusion or the implied frequencies of the illusion. A person can take a lonely, rainy Tuesday afternoon and create the most intimate and romantic evening one could experience by oneself. A wise young lady told me recently that some of the most romantic moments she's experienced has been by herself. And there are sunny afternoons that can be experienced from a place of distortion. And when I say distortion, one may not feel like going to skip in the park. One may just feel like sitting at home and looking out the window or laying in bed. But if anything, the weather gives us the opportunity or serves as a catalyst for us to feel more. So the original question was,
tell us how the weather is tied to feeling.
The weather is tied to feelings through serving as a catalyst in how we accept, or our ability to accept the moment and work with the outer illusion and harnessing these feelings to embrace it from a more balanced place. So the weather assists us in embracing the nature of it and seeing beyond what's expected or what is assumed by the weather through the judgments of the mind. What else you got, bro?
All right. Okay, this is a good one. Do you remember your first recognition of you feeling? What was the feeling? I guess the first recognition of, a very potent feeling of yours.
Mm-hmm. Personally, for me, within my human experience, the first feeling that I recollect, was on a bicycle. My father was driving the bike or pedaling the bike. I was in the baby seat connected to the bike. In the mid 80s, in America, I think 12 speeds were popular. And my father had one of these child seats on the back of the bike. And I recall the breeze in my face on the back of the bike.
Wax, huh?
Planet wax.
Planet wax, for real.
The breeze on my face, and I recall the feeling of safety. I felt safe and secure and joyous. The breeze blowing in my face and my father pedaling the bike and me in the back baby seat of the bike. I recall this feeling, and this is probably the earliest feeling that I recall. I'm still surprised that I recall such an experience and at such an early age. I want to say I was like 1 or 2 years old, maybe 2 years. No, I was 1. Yeah. So, yeah.
I guess we can keep going.
Yeah,
See
what you
anything
got?
chiming in there, Angel? See any other questions chiming in?
No, not having questions.
Yeah, I'm doing that now. I'm doing it right now. Yeah, it's free. Yeah,
I mean, there's comments though.
Okay. Are all parts of the body affected by feeling?
Are all parts of the body affected by feelings? Okay. The emotional body. Yes. It's all connected. It's an integrated aspect of our being. Of course, there's the physical. At the, I don't want to say lowest, but the most dense aspect of our presence. It's there. And the interconnected nature of all the bodies or our being, our beingness. And your reference was the physical body. The physical body is the most superficial aspect of our presence. Once again, I mean, of course, there's the micro moving up towards the macro, all interconnected. So the emotional body being an integral aspect of this interconnected nature of your presence and who you are as a creator. Of course, yes, it does have an effect or affect the physical body and being the most superficial of these or the nature of your presence. So
I think these two questions can be tied in together.
mm-hmm.
One is, what are some ways to positively move through in and out of feeling? And the other is, what are some of the ways in which you control, balance, and maintain all these feelings? I think.
What was the first one?
The first one is some ways to move positively through in and out of feeling. And the other one
through
is in,
feeling?
Yeah, through in and out of feeling.
Through in and out of feeling.
And then what are ways you can control?
Like,
I guess like
got you. So like move past them.
Yeah.
Got
So,
you. And then
the other one is how what are ways you can control, balance, and maintain all these feelings?
Control, balance, and maintain. Okay, so the most mature, spiritually mature way to move through feeling is accepting it. Through accepting it. For example, the example we used earlier, the jealousy, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way to move through jealousy is not to say, oh, I'm not jealous. I ain't jealous, and attempt to act as if it doesn't exist. Is to accept it. And through the acceptance of how you feel comes the ability to, I mean, of course, you know, with the mind construct, you may play with it and say, okay, well, why am I jealous?
Yeah,
what is this?
Everyone's different.
Yeah, of course, everybody's different, but some people choose to still analyze the nature of the feeling. Personally, I accept the feeling and say, okay, I'm jealous. I don't want to feel that way. Let me just step back and allow what it is. I'm not sure what that is, but my intent is to not be jealous. And then I allow my intentions to manifest themselves through my experience. So maybe something happens that allows me to see, okay, the jealousy that you were experiencing is an illusion. And now you can move past it. Here you go. This is what's going on. Oh, he's just a friend. Oh, he's just being nice. He's a good guy. Whatever, you know, I mean, whatever the reflection or manifestation of the intention is to allow me to realize that how I feel is a distortion. I accept it, and then I'm able to move through it. Acceptance is where you move through the distorted emotions. Sadness, pain, loneliness, a big one, especially amongst this path. A lot of people are feeling loneliness. We express every day bitterness, of course, resentment, feeling that someone has done something to you and you want revenge. This is a big one, especially with the healing taking place. It is not spiritually mature to want to see someone in pain. and I'm going to get to your question, but I feel like this is a great segue to that. It is destructive to want to see a person in pain. Once again, I repeat, it is destructive to want to see a soul in pain. Perfect example. And I'll continue to bring this situation up because it was an intense experience that was rather recent. Okay, of course, last August, my brother died because of a drunk driver. Young man got drunk, got in an argument with his girlfriend early morning, got in his car, drove recklessly down the street, and crashed into my brother's car and killed him. Now, the situation is intense. A life loss, very close to me. However, it does me no good to want to see the young man penalized to the maximum capacity or get an electric chair or any of this stuff. I do not want to see this. I do not intend for the person to experience that. Of course, he is going to experience that which is necessary for him, and this is the workings of the divine. If anything, what's necessary for him is healing, just like healing is still necessary for me. But it is not my intentions to see anything happen to him. As we heal, there will be souls that project disrespect, violence, and many other distortions towards you as you heal. And there are many of you who have resentment of the things that you've experienced throughout your path that have brought you great pain emotionally. And in some cases, there are many of you who want to see the many things that we express here as far as the unfoldments, the liberation of humanity come to pass based on the resentment built up, or based on the resentment built up because of the ridicule that you've received over your experience. The people calling you crazy and all the names and all this stuff. You want to see it come to fruition so you can say, see, I told you. See, I told you, I told you, I told you, I told you. This is destructive. This is not healing. This is destructive and not healing whatsoever. Your work, the work that you're doing right now, emotionally, is in moving beyond those feelings. You are not here to prove anything to anybody. You're not here to say, I told you so. You don't want to do that. If anything, you want the manifestation of these gifts to see liberation for all and allow all to do their healing on their own. People are going to do a lot of different things, but once again, they're scared, confused, and experiencing the sickness. Your work is in working on yourself and allowing everybody to experience what they must and letting it be. Your focus is not on them seeing it and saying, okay, cool, see, I told you, I told you, I told you. Your work is continuing to be balanced and accepting what is. So, once again, you want to see the freedom and liberation of all. You want to intend that what you intend for yourself, for others, regardless of what they have expressed based on illusion in the past or in the present. Be a person judging you right now. You don't want to wish them harm, because through doing so, you're only projecting these energies on yourself. What you intend for another is what you're intending for yourself. Let that go. So, question once again, that was the second one. You have more?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's
So-
go through them.
What are some triggers to recognize we are in our feelings?
In our feelings. In our feelings, and I've heard a lot of souls use this term. It's like a coin phrase. This in our feelings. I mean, you feel. You're here to feel. To assume that you are known is to exist within the mind identity. You're going to be in your feelings all the time. Now, to be conscious of how you feel is another thing. To be conscious of your feelings implies that you're aware and you're being responsible for how you feel based on your awareness of what is in alignment with who you are in truth versus the distortions of the ego mind and its influences on the nature of your feelings at the moment. However, being in your feelings is an integrated aspect of your existence, especially here in the illusion. So you're going to exist there. And now what you're referring to is probably the conscious awareness of where you are in your feelings, and this is based on you being responsible for how you feel and recognizing the nature of that which is peace and the truth of who you are as a creator. So it's more about being balanced and continuing to ground yourself. So
Explain how expressions are tied to our feelings.
expressions are but projections of our feelings, projections of what we intend to transfer as far as feelings to others, to those around us. We're basically attempting to clothe our feelings, our emotions in the different ways that we project via our art, via communication, via music, via dance, via any activity within the physical energetically that's being projected from our being. These are our expressions.
Okay, this one is tough. Do you think or know you can control your human by confirming the feeling you desire? Human, I think she means by like the human vessel we're in. By confirming the feeling you desire, I guess, can you control how you will feel? Like you desire to feel happy, you desire whatever, to feel sad, or like can you control that? Can you bring forth that feeling? I guess that's what this question is asking.
So the more conscious you are, the more conscious you are, the more conscious you are of the emotions that you're experiencing, and of course, you can accept them, which is the most wise. However, at the same time, there is a choice. There is a free will choice that's involved in how you will carry on. Initially, I could feel a sense of sadness. However, consciously, based on my ability to return to the heart space or continue to entertain the sadness. This is where it's not necessarily about control, but about our ability to return to our center, to return to our heart space. We can feel sad. Of course, we accept the feeling that we experience in the moment. Yes, sometimes of course, things take place that stimulate particular emotions. The emotions will come up. We accept the emotions. However, it's always our choice, our free will choice, to consciously return to the heart space if we recognize that these feelings are out of alignment with who we are and we choose to feel a different way. We can always return to the heart space. However, control is a rather strong word, to say the least, because we're not robots. We're experiencing our own energy. And sometimes things take place that stimulate emotions, and we should accept them as they are without resistance. And this acceptance without resistance is in our ability to return to the balance of the heart space, returning to peace. This is our home. This is home base. We can always return to home base and choose where we want to go from here. If we experience sadness and then return to home base after a brief moment or a moment of grieving, if you will, we can decide to continue forth in another frequency. So it's not necessarily a matter of control, but a consciousness, a conscious responsibility of how we feel.
I think you just answered the next question, which was, do we feel from our brain or heart brain? Really, we just answered that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and let me see. How do all the other senses, sight, sound, smell, and touch, relate to a feeling or bring about a feeling? I guess you're trying to ask this.
How does it relate?
Yeah.
This is analysis. This is deep analysis. The senses are all integrated within the vessel, where the emotional body is integrated within the vessel, connecting to the all. To analyze this only caters to more confusion. Deep analysis. More acceptance is necessary.
And finally, I left this for last because I think it's a good segue for us to graciously go through. What are feelings exactly?
What are feelings exactly? Feelings are frequencies. Feelings are frequencies, just like colors are frequencies, just like music are frequencies. It's energy. Energy at different vibratory frequencies. It's the symphony of life. Feelings, the energy, the sound, the colors, all that is unfolding. These are feelings, the nature of our experience. This is extremely broad, but once again, the nature of life, the orchestra, the symphony of life itself is beyond logical comprehension and the limitations of explanation. Know it is energy. And we're playing a song to ourselves. We're telling ourselves a story through the feelings. And the expansion of these feelings, the deepening of these feelings, are the deepening of the vibratory experiences and frequencies that we're able to feel as we expand, as we mature, as we evolve. We are opening ourselves up to even higher frequencies, just as our ability to see certain colors are expanded upon as we raise our frequencies, which is allowing us to see more vibrant colors in that which is the new earth. The energy, the frequency that is life is expanding. And through our ability to accept and embrace and feel the energies, we're allowing these feelings to become more and more potent and expand upon them. So we feel more. There's feelings that we don't have English words to describe that we're here to experience. It's just that it's necessary for us to continue to expand to allow us to experience these frequencies. So yes, feelings are energies. Feelings are emotions. Feelings are frequency patterns that associate themselves with colors, just as music or notes upon a keyboard or any instrumentation are associated with a particular frequency. And this is what we're discussing today.
Let me take a moment to give a shout out.
Sure, bro.
First of all, Amon had a great time out there in London.
Word.
You know, seeing some of our close brothers and sisters out there in London.
Big up to the UK squad over there.
Yup. And we received a gift on behalf of Carrie Chu. It reads Lavelle and Corey's and UBC's Rainbow Bird Tribe Biscuits. And she hashtagged it Bird Gang with a little star next to it. Much love, Carrie, is how she gracefully bowed out on the message. We are going to definitely enjoy these right here in gratitude.
It says even the kids like them.
You know what I mean? Kid approved. We good. We good over here.
Even the kids like them.
We really appreciate the cookies, Carrie
Thank
Chu.
you, Carrie.
Thank y'all for taking care of our brother Amon while he was out there, and I'm pretty sure he really enjoyed himself. And we are excited to maybe plan a trip out there to see you guys as well.
Put some biscuits in my mouth.
So I'm feeling very happy right now. Pause on that. I don't know. He almost got it. He almost got it. He almost got it. He almost got it. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So we're
I had the courage to say that. I had the bravery to say that.
It took a lot of courage to put the biscuit in my mouth. To put the biscuit in your
And I know out there in the UK y'all have tea time. So we may enjoy the biscuits with some tea. So as you guys do tea time out in the UK. So.
Oh man, Miss Angel, man. Wow, and yo, so hold on. Do we got any more questions, bro? It's like almost 11 o'clock.
No questions, right?
I got no questions, man. This is a beautiful Let's Build song.
Word. All right, cool. That's what it is. Easy enough. What's good, Maestro? You want to take us to a one more break before we cut out?
Sure.
All right, cool. One more song, and then we're gonna cut out and do our outro. What song you got, bro?
So, in a form of very great self-expression, this is one song that I believe that Lavelle and RJ, AZ, and Young Miyagi really outdid themselves in expressing themselves on this track. This is called Mr. Miyagi and Me. It's one of my favorites. You guys can check it out on the page. I'll of course put the link in there. So, you know, enjoy the pain and the expressions of this track as they really went in on it. So, pause.
Compliment my spirit on my wordplay. I am not in a hurry, but we got up early, man. We got those first angry birds, never catch a worm still. My speed no liquid. Samurai thinking with the misdemeanor. Let them know that flower do bloom when I hit them, make a hit and bound. Put me on, no rapper is safe right now. I live that right now. We get loud from the park bench. Raw skills get cut and get polished through brilliance. No need to compete, though I'm dope. I salute the fleet on every verse I spit. Salama Jaya. Check the lectures, a different texture on my heat ledger. If I die, I'm your mother, father's children. Big that, reconnect to the roots, so you know that the roof is on fire every time I hold the mic. I get so excited, I'm so excited. Just be my guest, just listen. Audio, OPMs running through your system now. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is we gon' step to untested, dodge like a run with terror, extra makers from my body spectrum, real small blind, wake up, run the church and tell y'all and every bond of the yo, run the building on the ground, going home, cause I'm not the human, but struck when I bust like gravity, get out, and I'm still a him, I'm never telling y'all what they do now. My crystal tracks, so I calm down, the organite, Himalayan soul through the diamond light, I'll get your minds conscious to the doctor, so organized, we on the rise, dream of the crop, so go work it. We are not surprised questions. What's truly cooler than being cool? Ice cold, peace from the center of my core. Thou shalt behold the kind of likeness of the soul coming forth through the swore we all. We was hitting on stage, straight hopping dimensions, it's all a pollution. Home box company system, no limitation. Building on a new population, live from the basement. Yeah, we the new politicians, we all been graced with ability to never than fiction. Golden age, yeah, we go put my back in the way. Hey, yo,
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, a great honor and pleasure to connect with you as always. It's been a beautiful communication today and connecting with your feelings and ours as we continue to heal and evolve and expand and spiritual maturity. Once again, feelings, a natural aspect of our existence here on planet Earth within the physical illusion of time and space. Once again, feelings represent frequencies of the energies that are your love, and the ups and downs and trials, victories, the blessing, the miracle of life represents this orchestration, this symphony of emotions. It's necessary for us to accept it all, embrace it all, where through our acceptance, through our ability to accept, through the wisdom of accepting how we feel and being honest, the courage to be honest with oneself and how you feel represents and is reflective of your spiritual maturity as you expand. And this is the nature of our experience. Of course, acceptance is the foundation of healing, where we continue to evolve. And through our acceptance, we're saying to ourselves, I am in love. I am accepting the love that is. I recognize the love that I am. And I have the capacity to love more and more as I continue to accept myself as prime creator, as I continue to expand upon who I am as prime creator, as I continue to realize the vastness of who I am as prime creator, experiencing myself from the micro to the macro of the vastness that is all of existence within the self. This is feelings, and it's necessary to accept them all and embrace them all. This is where you connect and you enjoy the blessing and miracle of life itself. You're here to feel. Life is not a horror movie, but a love story. So it's necessary to have the courage to feel as you heal. Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, a great honor and pleasure. I'd like to thank all our special guests. Of course, AAA for joining us. Big shout out to the God Amun Ra, coming back from London here at the Ra. Big shout out to Marcel, coming in the clutch out of the darkness of Exodus, back here. Big shout out to our maestro for the night, A&R C's overseas.
You know it.
Love
Love
like
rocks.
Dave
Pause.
Chappelle right now.
I'm sorry.
Love rocks.
And last and not least, all of you, for joining us and continuing to be here and embrace, be open to that which is infinite intelligence within the heart space that we share is one. We are one family, one team, and we are awakening and seeing the liberation of the human species in this now moment. Thank you for being here. I am your Commander Ashtar, and we are the angelic realms of the Galactic Council of the Galactic Federation of Light. Many greetings, blessings. We continue to be with you here. Thank you for serving and shining your light on planet Earth. We love you. Love.